chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world. Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. Flying, get on board. We're soaring on top of the world. Get on board. We're soaring on top of the
Well, hello again, folks. Welcome back to Flying with Mike. Hope you've all had a great day. Good night's rest. I'm a little behind because I turned a movie on Netflix. Got wrapped up in it. It was a really good movie too. Railwaymen, and just a really good movie. It's short time left on Netflix, so if you're into World War II stuff. Wow, what a movie. That's all we can really say about it. So, but again, hope you all are having a great time. Want to welcome in our latest follower. It looks like overnight, Haizuk 5 Fensteric came aboard. So welcome in. Hope you're here today. Today we're taking off in like I said, we're going to be flying the Felis 747 a heck of a lot more. Getting back to my roots, where I used to just love flying the Queen of the Sky, be it the Dash 200, Dash 400. And today is no different. We're going to keep going, except we're not over in the Far East in Australia. We're right here in the United States, going from Ellsworth Air Force Base up there in South Dakota, down to Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. Those of you that served in the Air Force when I did back during the Cold War know Offutt quite well, even if you weren't in that command. We all knew that was the one we never wanted to go to. No, it was Strategic Air Command's headquarters. And if you're not familiar, because I know most of you millenniums are going, never heard of it. You're right, because in the 90s is when they got rid of it. It was what the nuclear forces of this country were part of. And very strict command, very by the book, by everything, folks. Aircraft on hair trigger standbys. And folks, hair triggering a B-52 is not easy, but they did. They were ready to fly very quick notice. So we're going to pay a little tribute to them today here on this day. So what we are flying is my chickened out attempt at flying the E-4B. I say chickened out because there is downloads out there for the X-Plane Felis 747 that will include the what you're used to in seeing it. I'm just too chicken to try to get all of those textures and all the way they say to. And part of it's just because I am not as fluent with X-Plane as I was Microsoft before 3 years ago. Microsoft, I don't even know if I'd have even tackled some of the things they were looking at doing. So you want to do it, folks. You feel competent, go for it. It's out there. I'm not even going to provide the link, but you all go for it at your own risk. I'm going to fly it though as the 747-200 that it was, and we'll go from there. So, but airborne command post is what this aircraft was in the latter part. Most of the time, KC, or not a KC, a C-137, which was an actual 707, did the mission. So, but anyway, we're going to hop up in the aircraft after the break and get this thing going. All right, folks, hang on a second. Just got a message, folks, from our moderator. He's along with us today, so welcome. And hopefully we'll keep you awake more than what you're supposed to be will keep you awake. Anyway, or maybe we'll both put you to sleep. Who knows? But we're going to have fun. We are flying this flight with Sim Air Force, folks. I have alerted them that we will be flying today. They only now know what we're flying. So, and it's a virtual SOA, Special Operations Group arrangements and all. So you can fly tight formations, air refueling, bombing, attack in the provisions of the SOA agreement, Special Ops Agreement. So that's who we're flying for today. And we'll get some more information up here as we get going for them. I think I have it simply to get to. You know, that's one thing with that little tardiness and getting on board. I did not think to do that. Of course. You know, welcome to that loose nut behind the wheel. All right, let's see here. I'll get it pulled up here real quick because I just did it for something else. So if you're interested in this kind of operations on VATSIM, here's a link to it. And you can check them out. It's, you know, I don't require anyone to join, only if they're interested to check them out. Just resizing screens. All right, so let's hop up in the cockpit, shall we? Heading up, and there we go, folks. 3 stories in the air. And we're pretty much, for the most part, ready to go. Just a couple things left on the plate to handle. We'll get over to this, but for now, we have our cargo doors open, door 1L, and chocks in, and we're on external power. Next up, we'll come to this, but in order to come to this, let's look at Sim Toolkit and find out what the flight entails today. We went through all of this yesterday, so we're going to go right to, you got it, flight planning. All right, so technically we'd be reach 1617. However, we're going to be Sim Air Force 18 once I get this all filed up. But anyway, we're going to go to JSSCA, VTN, ANW, OFK, which I believe is Norfolk, Nebraska, over to SCB and JABMO to get there. So you can kind of see the route all around us, okay? Clicking fly now. Let's see if we have any ATC. Does not look like, but we may have BCD. Oh, sorry, getting into another song. Weather here in Rapid City, South Dakota, where Ellsworth is. Folks, a beautiful day. Clear skies, 10 miles visibility, or better, 350 or 340 degrees on the wind at 20. So make sure your toupees are strapped on. 21 degrees Celsius and a 2998 on the barometer. Just for those curious, we are 3,300 feet above sea level here. Just a lovely little tidbit. What this base is back in the day of SAC and today is a B-1 bomber base. Last I checked, some Air Force guys, I know you'll be all over my butt, said, General, you got it wrong again. I don't care. You do, you do. I don't think they're part of Global Strike, which is the SAC of today. There's a whole story why that came about. I think they're mostly part of ACC. Now, remember I talked about the plane looks a little different than what you saw on the ramp? There you go. Right there. I just happened to see the picture of it. That entailed quite a bit. I digressed. But anyway, it is a B-1 bomber base. I do not believe nuclear. Again, I could be berated by some Air Force if I'm wrong, and they're okay. I can take it. It's not the first time I've been wrong. Yeah, it would be. No, anyway. But anyway, Offutt's got a west wind at 4, 10-mile visibility. We got a couple of clouds to contend with at 1,400 feet, and then a scattered deck at 15,000. So again, another fantastic flying day here in the U.S. Not many more left up here in the upper Midwest. It's gonna become that other word we don't like using. Other than to say my favorite holiday of the year is in that, and that is Christmas. All right, so loadout for today. This can go so many ways, folks. Being a battle staff airplane, and I clicked the wrong one, wanted that one. It really doesn't get into the 300s in hauling people. It's got rooms. It's a lot like what you've seen in Air Force One with a whole bunch of different compartments inside the main deck. Mainly aimed at command and control of aerial battles, aerial surveillance, and what have you. So the fact that it says 334, we'll kind of see how we go. But we can, the neat thing about Felis is it really doesn't care what this is. If you want to go less, you can, and it'll help you fuel and all of that to change that. Currently, we're scheduled for 55,500 pounds of fuel and a zero fuel weight of 46169. Now, that number could actually be there with 100 people, possibly. Why? Because there's desks, chairs, offices, electronic gear out the, and yeah, so it's possible. So that's what we'll gear to more is the zero fuel weight. And we're going to try to make 37,000. So, all right. So again, that's what the bird looks like. In real life, we're nowhere near what real life looks like. Like I said, I chickened out. All right, so I do need that brought up here. All right, so we're going to make the number zero fuel weight right here equal pretty close to that 460 number. We'll try to at least. I'm going to put 50% people on board. We're still 20,000 pounds-ish. Okay, I over-exaggerated. But anyway, we're still at least 13,000 pounds, I think, is all we'll need. I think we'll leave our packs at that number. Trying to find it again. Where are you? Packs count says 60, but I put... Oh, I hit cargo. Ah, that's why. I'm like, what? What? 203 people. That's fine. Let's go here, and that put us up to a zero fuel weight of 29. Okay. That's a substantial amount of cargo in there. All right, so let's start bringing it up. We're bringing this, oh wait, we're still over, sorry. 489, let's bring it down a bit. Wait a minute, did I just change my peeps? I sure did. Hang on, let's see if I can get that's good. All right, now we'll bring things down a bit. Okay. There we go. That's pretty close right there. Actually, could have knocked it down a little here. And offset. There we go. All right, so there we go. We're now roughly where we need to be. 209. We'll stay under it. Okay, so we were supposed to be 460, 169. We're 109. We're going to run with 200 people crammed in this thing. I know y'all going, you don't cram people at 200 in a 747. E4, you probably would be considered crammed. Now the fun part. Fuel. And that works up here, folks. Today's trip is 418 miles. So we're going to bring it down to 450. We're going up to 37. Today's winds are 296 at 69. Where alternate is MCI. I don't know if we get the mileage on this one or not. Hang on, let me check down here. Where's our alternate? Here we go. Alternate airport MCI distance 164. Let's call it 200. Tailwind. I really hate that. I need 20 anyway. I'm going to go with a tailwind component of 20. Reason being, I like the extra fuel, just in case. Okay, and we got a 5% contingency that's going to climb here to 10%. So even liking this more. So there we go, folks. We're a little different than our flight plan. We actually have more fuel, less people. I know, you're all going, well, same, roughly zero fuel weight. So really not much change there. Here's what it looks like for those that like these kinds of screens. Okay, and we'll go here. Now, all we did, again, folks, just keep this in mind with this plane. You have not loaded it. Yes, you have not loaded it. You have to go to refuel, use your load data sheet, and you could and I want to get flying, so we're going to go instant. So we have 62,058 pounds. Today, payload 201. You see how everything looks right? We are going to instant board and load. It's the military, folks. They don't know how to lollygag. Otherwise, we would just wait for Muffy and Buffy to say, hi, everyone, as they walk down thinking they're on the red carpet for a Hollywood gala. All right, so we are now loaded with 11 crew, 200 passengers, 29,000 pounds of cargo, and our fuel. So we're ready to go, folks. Now, I am going to go ahead. First off, I do want to get back to this. Go to ground. I'm going to close all up. And crank up that APU. Okay, we'll get this light to go. When this one clears, we'll go to start. Okay, there we got the EGT coming up. Here, I'll swing over, let you see it all. What we're waiting on is 100% RPM on the engine. And at that point, we'll begin testing. Make sure the APU is good to put on the bus, the electrical bus, that is. Okay, we'll close the top half. And I'm going to kind of zoom in so you can see this panel and me too. All right, so APU, there's generator 1, looks like 115 volts. The frequency of those volts, 400. Okay, I always hit the other one so it kind of zeroes sort of kind of out. We do it again for APU 2. That's right, folks, 2 generators on this APU. And back to Gen 1, we're good. All right, and then all we got to do, folks, close, close. And we are now on internal power from the APU. It means we can't yet because we haven't turned. Let you read. The bleed air valve is now open. And this will show you what Pack 1 is doing. See how the gauges are changing and catching up? At half, let's go full. Okay, Pack 2, same thing. Pack 3, same thing. And these will tell you what that individual pack is doing. Is it working? Is it not working? Up here, you set your temperatures with these levers, either in the middle for auto. If they're calling it's cold or warm back there, you can go this way to cool, this side to warm. Go full, and Gaisper valve on. Humidifiers on, we're good. All right, now we're ready to begin some checklists.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of the entire crew, welcome aboard the Boeing 747 Classic. We will depart shortly after we have our clearance and the cabin crew is finished with their preparations. For now, I wish you a pleasant flight, and I will be back during the flight with further flight information.
All right, hang on, because I don't want to forget. While it's fresh on the memory, get the ACARS system going, and then we can start into the checklists. But I hope y'all are having a great Friday Eve, otherwise known as Thursday. And hope you all have a great day. A lot of fighters going in and out of Scott Air Force Base today. Are you guys playing with your balloons again out there? Sorry, couldn't resist. Say what? Somebody cancel my bid? Stand by for a second here, folks. Why is it not pulling? That's the right one. Is it not pulling? Oh, okay. Well, we'll put that out there, and what I'll do, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. All right, we'll go from KRCA, KOFF, see if my airplane is even in the roster. That could be why. Although it shouldn't be, but you never know with computers these days. Well, I did not see it, so this computer has a mind on its own over here. Holy mackerel, it just turned off the speaker or the mute. Because if it's not in the list, well, we have a way of getting around the list. All right, it is not in the list. I wonder why. Interesting, interesting. Well, we'll just call ourselves something else. 'Cause if it's not in the list, well, we have a way of getting around the list. All right, it is not in the list. I wonder why. Interesting, interesting. Well, we'll just call ourselves something else. 'Cause if it's not in the list, well, we have a way of getting around the list. Just not late for dinner. There we go. All right, well, that'll work then. All right, let me get my flight plan in this thing real quick and we'll be up and running. Sorry for that delay, folks. Did not see that one coming. Okay, duration we don't need, and create. And we'll go ahead and fly this one. Glad I did it now and not later. Okay, and start. All right, you guessed it, we're ready to go. All right, so you've been looking at the overhead panel, everything right? Hellsong 5, Finster Kip, welcome in, sir. Hope you're having a great day. All right, we are raring and ready to go. We've done our welcome message. Let's get over here and get a checklist going, shall we?
Cockpit to ground. Disconnect ground power.
One last double check. We are off. Excuse me.
Ground power disconnected.
Perfect. All right, so all we got to do is pull those chocks. Here we go. Before start checklist. Start it.
Before start checklist, please. Gear lever and lights. Down and check. Brakes. Parked. Start levers. Off. Radios. On and check. Flight control hydraulic power. On. INS. Check and nav. Compasses. Slaved. Window heat. On. Seatbelts and no smoking. On. Emergency lights. Armed. Exterior lights. Check. Flight instruments. Check. Altimeters and clocks. 1015 set and cross check. Radio INS switches. Radio. Radar and transponder. Standby. Indicator lights. Check. Engine and wing anti-ice. Off. Stall warning. Check. Mach airspeed warning. Check. Auto brakes. Check and off. Body gear steering. Arm. Anti-skid. On. Autopilot and flight director. Check and off. Takeoff warning. Hold on.
Okay, takeoff warning. Just pull the throttles forward, folks. Do you hear?
Check. Auto flight enunciators. Check. GPWS. Check. Instrument warning. Check. Flight director computer selectors. Check. Instrument source selectors. Normal. Reserve brake valve. Closed. Spoilers. Down. Static selectors. Normal. Oxygen mask and regulator. Check and emergency off. Brake pressure. Check. Stabilizer trim. Check and on. Rudder and aileron trim. Check. Checklist completed.
Okay, let's move right over to the next guy, and that'll be in the back. One we'll have to stop for. We'll talk about it
Battery.
real briefly.
APU panel. Check. Auxiliary power. Check. Engine oil quantity. Check. Fuel quantity. 61867 pounds. Fuel panel. Check and set. Pressurization controls. Check and set. Bleed controls. Let's see.
All right, I gotta start turning off packs.
Check and set. Hydraulic quantity. Check. EPR computer. This.
All right, that's the one, guys. All right, we're going to keep it in TOD for takeoff. It is not top of descent for those of you smarty pants that think you knew better. It's takeoff dry. So just so you know. And it is because they could do a wet takeoff where they pumped water in. So well, thank you, sir. I'm working on it. I've caused too many world disputes by the way I pronunciate things, so I've been really trying to, ease up on that. But thanks for being a part. Thanks for the follow and the plug for YouTube. Folks, if you do miss something over here, as Heizunk here promptly said, you could go to our YouTube channel and you should be able to see it without any problems. Unless, of course, like we had a few weeks ago when the power went out here. Yeah, well, when the whole system goes down, you're kind of, yeah, it kind of doesn't work right. So, but anyway, let's get back to this. So, yeah, we're going to keep it here. Now, GA go around is what he's wanting it at here. I'll keep it here at TOD. Mainly because I really not sure if we'll get any difference on GA or not on our performance. All right, so get over here. Let's get over here, then over here. Check.
Circuit breakers. Check. Indicator lights. Check. Electrical panel. Check and set. Air conditioning controls. This. Check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels. Check and set. Equipment cooling. Check. Passenger oxygen. Check. Hydraulic panel. Check and set. Fuel jettison panel. Check. Crew oxygen. On. Oxygen mask and regulator. Check and emergency off. ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Awesome, folks. We are now to the next one that says after start. So we are in good shape here. Let's light up this firecracker. Couple things I do want to do real quick. Let's do our performance calculation. All right. I need a couple things here. I know I'm just so needy these days. All right, so first thing, let's load in our data sheet. We'll take off with 10 degrees flaps, but we'll see. I'm really not expecting more than that, but you never know. Today's runway is 13,500 feet long. Airport elevation, 3270, so we'll call it 33. .310. We're dry. Temperature outside is not frightful. It will be here shortly, but it is not frightful yet. All right. Let's see here. All right, so the temperature is 22 by Toto. 3000. We'll have to do some updates with that. And the wind stands at 350 at 21. Now, if you haven't noticed, many of the fields, like up here, you can only do to the hundredths or to the 10. Down here, these you can get right to the number. Don't ask me why. I talked to Felis. He's the one that would know. I don't. I'm pretty sure it's because that would be really complicated. That would be my best answer. All right, so we're going to have a V1 120, rotate at 125, V2 144. Trim 3, initial pitch up 17, and an optimal climb above 10,000 feet, folks, of 295. Don't want to hear it. I already know. Some of you are saying, you're in a heavy, you can fly 270 with permission from ATC. Always read after that, folks. Don't stop. Read after. And as light as you are in this configuration, 250 is not going to hurt the plane. You can completely clean up, folks, as you can tell. Flaps up 218. And if ATC comes back and says, no, you'll do 250 to 10,000, suck it up, Buttercup, and run flaps 1 or flaps 5 if you have to maintain your speed. It's not unheard of in the real world. All right, so just letting you know, I hear that a lot, and I'm like, guys, you really do not get carte blanche just because you got 4 engines on the wing and you're a big, big, bad plane. Beautiful, big, bad plane, but still, you don't get carte blanche. All right, so we are ready to go. We got our V speeds. All we got to do is click set speeds. Right over here, you'll see the airspeed gauge now with all the speedy bugs out. Let's start this firecracker, shall we? After I get on with VATSIM. Yesterday we flew 2 flights. Great flight from Chattanooga over to Memphis. Unfortunately, it went longer than I wanted. I got talky. But still a great flight. Then we did another flight, Caravan, out in the Northeast. And we had one of those controllers that I'm overloaded. Well, there's your clue. But anyway, we're not going to argue too much about that, but other to say, yeah, okay, you're overloaded. And then we ended up going offline, still had a great time. To his chagrin. I have more answers to that because we have controllers at a real airport saying that. So, all right, we are ready to go. On time, 17:45 was scheduled push. Well, we're just going to pull out. So, let's light them. Oh, wait, helps to come online, doesn't it? Connect. SIMAF 18. B742. Oh, yeah. There we go. We are now online. Give it a few seconds, folks. We'll be at Ellsworth. Hey, you're welcome to join us. Those of you scared of ATC, there are none around. Those with AT who are ATC and scared of me, I'm right here. Just kidding, folks. Couldn't resist. All right, so let's start them up. So how do we start it? Well, first off, let's make sure we got our packs off. We got our pressure belt. Okay, that's good. Fuel pumps on. We're not going to worry about cross feeds at the moment. Fueled, ready to go. Beacon should be on. And it is. And we need to open the start valve.
Ready to start the engines. Ready for engine start.
Today, since the last time we flew this, now granted, it was in Australia. Not the same plane, we're still going to use System 2. So we'll go 3, then 4, 1 and 2.
Start valve open.
Okay. And what I like to do is come over here this way and kind of keep my eyeball on it. N2 is right here. It is not on your main engine panel up front. That's something the man behind the pretty boys takes care of. They're the ones that as you taxi by have their little parade wave going, say, look at us, we are the pilots, we're the almighties. We're the ones that made that flight perfect for you. And it's actually the guy behind him called the flight engineer.
20% and 2.
There we go.
Fuel on. Light up.
Now, with X-Plane 12, when you download Felis, you're going to get both versions in your folder. To make sure you started the right one, you need to hear this on startup. You're supposed to say it. It's not stabilized yet.
Engine stabilized.
You don't hear that, folks. You accidentally clicked on X-Plane 11 and are trying to run that version of Felis in X-Plane 12. To get around that, real quick, all you got to do, uncheck this box that says Show Aircraft for Older Versions. And then you'll always start up X-Plane 12. Thank you to the guys over at Felis for that tip. And yes, folks, we are in a commercial break. We're going to keep starting it up, and that way we can try and get it airborne a lot earlier. Okay, still building up. He'll tell you 20%, and then we'll move fuel lever 4 from cutoff to idle. Come.
20% and 2.
Fuel on. Light up.
All right, and then we can come up here, and now the pretty boys can look at their gauges up here and go, oh, look, the dials are rolling up.
Starter off.
And we're just waiting for those words stabilized.
Engine stabilized.
All right. Now, I told you we're going to start up 1 and 2, and I'm going to do just that, folks, both at the same time. That APU has enough power to technically have started 3 and 4 together, but we can do it here. Now, in the Air Force, will they start them up doubled up like that? No. Why? Because they don't really have traffic waiting on. However, when you're in the passenger version or even cargo, you might be at like Frankfurt, Heathrow, JFK, Los Angeles, where traffic, you already know the words, is out of sight. Unbelievable. So you want to get those engines up and going quick so you don't tie people up behind you. Okay, so here's how you would do that.
Starter valve open.
Okay.
Starter valve open.
Okay, now, when you're looking down here, no, engine 1's going to be the first one, he says. He's not going to tell you the engine if you haven't paid attention. So, when he says 20% and 2, you know it's engine 1. When he says it the second time, it's engine 2.
And 2.
Fuel on. Light up.
20% and 2.
Fuel on. Light up.
And then we watch our engine gauges again.
Starter off.
But yes, that is the whole purpose of how we're able to do that. Is to clear that pushback starting lane as quickly as possible for the next pilot or the traffic bunching up behind you, because these things do take a little bit to get going. All right, so we're not done by a long shot yet, folks. We're just waiting for engines to stabilize. We've got to get 2 of them.
Engine stabilized.
Ah, you live next to Frankfurt. Ah,
Engine stabilized.
I remember when on the south end of the runway, it was called Rhine-Main Air Force Base. Then they built Ramstein and pretty much moved it. All right, I think we got both stabilizers. It sure looks it. All right, so we go up here, take a look. Everything's good. I'm going to go ahead and close the starter valve. And then we'll move over here. And we're going to go start switches off, beacons on, pressure, start levers, pack valves can reopen, door lights, hydraulic panel. All right, so let's do that real quick. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn the pitot heat on. Beacon is on.
Cabin crew, arm slides.
All doors are closed and armed.
All right, the big thing we need to do though is get those engines now running the electric bus. So take them up. Okay, and now you're off the APU here, folks. We'll find out, because if everything goes out, we did it wrong. And let's get it cooling in the back. Now, if you really want to hear the message going off in the back, you can actually turn that up in here. These levers are your volumes. Right now we're maxed for ATC. The PA though is just about turned off. You could even identify VORs if you wanted. See, look, I'll turn it. So when you get that pilot that doesn't know how to, that he's not supposed to have a power mic on here to blow our eardrums out, turn them down. And I'm not just going to make fun of that pilot because there are controllers that are that way. They want to make sure I'm controlling Anchorage. They can hear me in Antarctica. Don't worry, I went through this when I drove a truck, so it's called the off button on the CB for about 10 miles. Then you don't hear them because they don't really get out as far as they think. All right, so let's get the flight directors on. And let's get over here and do our after start.
After start checklist.
Flight recorder.
On.
Start switches.
Off.
Beacon lights.
On.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Start levers.
Idle detent.
Engine and the ice.
Off.
Electrical panel. Check. Pack valves. Open. Dual warning lights. Out. Hydraulic panel. Check. Flight recorder. On. After start checklist completed.
Flaps 5. Flaps 10.
Okay, so it said has to be in the green band. We know 3 wasn't in the green band, so that's right here. I don't get it, but whatever. It's how it works in the Boeing. Probe heat's already on. Flight controls. That is a big one, folks. You really do want to do this on every airplane to make sure you don't have a gust lock in place. Gust locks have been very detrimental to aircraft over the years. Pilots get in a hurry, don't think they installed them, and the co-pilot does. forgets, and then the pilot just goes, well, I didn't put them in, so they're not on, and we go, and we don't do the simple check. It's right in their checklist, too. Now, in the flight sim world, where we don't really have gust locks, I like checking this because for some reason with my flight yoke and throttle, it'll sometimes smash over like that, and I'm just easing it, it'll go real hard. So I want to try to nip that in the bud as quick as possible. What else we got? Yaw dampers, fuel heats off, gross weight engineer panel, F cargo heat. F cargo heat. Normal, we're ready to run it and begin our taxi. Ellsworth traffic, Sim Air Force 18 taxiing to runway 31.
Flaps 10.
Takeoff data, EPR and airspeed bugs.
Set and cross check.
Stabilizer trim.
Set in green band. Parking brake released.
Probe heat.
On.
Flight controls.
Check.
Yaw dampers.
Check. Cockpit to ground. Remove the chocks.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness.
Check.
APU. Off. Fuel heat. Off.
Chocks removed.
Totalizer and gross weight. Set. Flight engineer and pilot panels. Check. Aft cargo heat. Normal. Seatbelts and shoulder harness. Check. Taxi checklist completed.
Okay, now we can go. All right, we're on our way to runway 31. Along the way, we'll get our VOR set so we can truck on down there. I'm going to go ahead and start that timer. And all right, Rapid City is 12:03. Anyone in the audience that was an old SAC pilot on standby? Had a standing question with a lot of today pilots who never really understood, well, never did the standbys. But the alert standbys that SAC was known for, tankers and bombers of all types, B-52s, B-1s being the big ones my generation knows. But then you also had B-58 Hustlers. You had, well, the B-36s. Did they ever really stand alert or not? B-47 Stratojets. Wait a minute, I think that's wrong. But anyway, they did. And my question, though, isn't the aircraft that stood by. Oh, and don't forget the 135s did as well. And then the KC-10s when they came in. My question is, folks, if you ever pull up the word Strategic Air Command, we'll just say in the most authoritative source for internet knowledge, Wiki, you're going to find out most of those bases are up north here, where this thing called snow and ice happens. Now, de-icing became a huge, huge name after the dichotomy here, folks, is really hilarious. A 737 went into the Potomac River and killed a few people, actually a lot of people, in the middle of winter due to improper de-icing procedures. Oh, by the way, the airline was Air Florida. So you see where I say the dichotomy is ironic at best. But we got all these bombers on standby. And prior to the 70s would actually launch when there were tensions until a treaty halted that and they taxied out to taxi back usually. Because if they lifted off, it became an act of war. How'd you guys handle ice and snow? Because you don't have hard shelters. I'd hate to think how big the hard shelter would be for a B-52. I'm serious here, folks. Look up the specs. Think about that one long and hard. So how did you guys get around that? So, wing and a prayer, what I'm thinking. Also, I'll be honest, as a kid, we never lived by a SAC base or a base with tankers, which would still been SAC back then. Today, they're part of Mobility Command. Back then, they weren't. I can't imagine living by there in the 60s and hearing them launch. Knowing, if they knew, what that really meant. Just can't, if they knew, just going, oh my God, is this it? So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, when they launched, folks, we had an imminent threat that the Soviets had launched. Today we can't say that word. We have to be more politically correct. Someone launched a weapon. Back then, Soviets. Today, probably the Soviets or the Chinese. I know, I caused another international incident. Oh well. Welcome to Flying with Mike. All right, we're going to run the before takeoff check here, get myself out of too much trouble here. Yeah, the State Department always is knocking on my door. Would you cut it out? No, they aren't. They don't even know who I am. Thank goodness. And oddly enough, I've noticed that most B-1 bases don't have a Christmas tree for those aircraft on alert. They just do them from the ramp. The B-52 bases, only two by the way, do have Christmas trees. So I'm just kind of, again, what happened to that? Or is that just an outgrowth of when they came off alert in the very early 90s? All right. Let's hold up here and let's do that. A lot of interesting questions I've posed. Oh, Isaac, that is awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, let's get that parking brake set. Let's run it. Before takeoff, so we got icing considerations. We got a cabin alert, should be up there. And it is. Ready.
Cabin ready.
All right, while we're sitting here, let's just go ahead.
Cabin crew, take your seats.
And you're probably going, well, why do we hear the captain? He is in the area you are. Okay, so cabin alert transponder. TRA. Radar, which we don't have anything going on. DB Vetter, welcome aboard. All right, ignition. Now there is a click spot up here, folks, to help you. Click it right there in between on the line here. Now, when we get on the ground and it says to turn them off, it's right there on the other side. Really cool. Okay, so it works both sides. Okay, whatever. I had to try it, folks. We'll get the body gear on the runway. The boost pumps are on. The crossfeed valves are set, and we're ready to go. Ellsworth traffic, SIMAF Force 18, heavy, departing 3-1. Actually, we're departing 1-3, folks. I went the wrong way. Where is that thing? I sure am at 300. Oh, man. Well, crud. This is going to be a fun crosswind, tailwind takeoff. Let's call it a whirlwind event. Alright, so let me just get a new bearing here. 127. Okay, so that's cool. We're going to be aiming straight for where we're wanting to go. We're going to, if we're not already doing it, we're going to be heading straight for the VOR or very close to it. So, our heading to the VOR will be about to JSSCA 129. All right, we got that set. We got that set. We're ready to go. We've announced we're good to go. We're going to go. Parking brake off. Again, we got some checklist items to run. Nobody said anything, so we're taking the runway opposite direction departure. That loose nut behind the wheel, I tell you, them pretty boys get you lost in a heartbeat if it wasn't for the FMC INS system. Oh wait, I'm in that seat. Okay, let's start running it.
Before takeoff checklist.
Icing considerations.
Check.
Cabin alert.
Check.
Transponder.
Check.
Ignition.
Flight start.
Body gear steering.
Disarm.
Pack valves. Let's see. Closed. Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Fuel boost pumps. On. Cross feed valves. Check. Before takeoff checklist completed.
All right. Next one is your after takeoff, which, believe it or not, folks, because of this line right here, is actually pretty close to 10,000 feet. Kind of funny. You usually want to run this after takeoff. Call me silly. Yeah, that's how it is. And then we'll get our pack valves and all. Everything else is good. It's that landing and logo light that's usually around 10,000 feet. All right, so here we go.
Stabilized.
Okay, with stabilized, I'll let the brakes off. Go to keeper.
Thrust set.
knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
Guess what? I'm wrong, folks. I just saw the Christmas tree here. Okay, and we'll go to VS. Start cleaning this bird up.
Flaps 5. Flaps 1. Flaps up.
All right, folks, we are tracking to Jessica with the tailwind takeoff we just did. Bad pilot here. I did not engage this clock, so had we had a clearance delivery and they would have said climb, we'll just say we did 5,000. But let's just say they said climb 5,000, 10 minutes after departure, expect flight level 370. We hear that quite a bit where I work. I wouldn't know if would have known accurately a 10-minute mark other than that one and a little bit of the other one. All right, there's 10,000. So lights off. Okay, landing gears off. Pack valves, make sure you get them open, which I have not. Otherwise, you will get a ghost plane. At least 2 of them. I get them all going. And then get the fuel heat going to auto. All right, let's run it.
After takeoff checklist.
Gear lever. Off. Landing and logo lights.
Damn.
We'll come back to that in a second, folks. Aviate before crashing the plane. We're above 10,000 feet, so I can now set the airspeed bug here to, what was it? 295. All right. And then as we get closer to it, I can increase the climb. Just try not to get too far below 1,000 feet a minute. ATC, especially VATSIM, real world may not. VATSIM will blow a cow if you get it below 1,000 feet a minute. You're expected. I'm like, whoa, dude. Back the truck up. $18,000's transition, so we'll zoom in for that. And we're coming on course at JSSCA. And let's go ahead and switch it into IAS to let the speed of the aircraft govern how the pitch is. If we're too fast, she'll pitch high. If we're too slow, she'll pitch down. And then as we get closer to Mach 0.85, we'll then switch into a Mach hold climb. Same thing, just working off the Mach number. All right. 17,000. Hang on a second here, folks. Let me get this heading bug issue fixed. Okay, there we go. Now, let's go read. And let's go to 2992. All right, we're all set. We're going to have about a 5,800 cabin altitude for this level. And it's all looking good, folks. We are on our way. We've actually gotten all of the checklists. Oh, we're missing one. That's because it wants...
Off. Ignition. Check. Seatbelts and no smoking sign. Check. Back valves. Open. Fuel heat. Auto. After takeoff checklist completed.
And that's it, folks, till... And I like actually running it at or around 10,000 feet. There's a couple items in here we'll have to either skip or check. But you're pretty much at that point for most of these items. Even though it does say, here we'll get over here to read it better, descend and approach. So they should have broke this into two, but they're doing it so you can stick, because, you know, we all know coming down, you're really focused on a lot of things. Even though there's some brakes, it's a lot harder. Well, takeoff is the same way. I'd like to see an en route climb for some of that, but like that after takeoff being after takeoff and then an en route climb or climb checklist. I don't know, just me, call me, but am I going to go over to Felis and say, hey, I really think you need to do this? No. He's got such a great plane. I'm not. Now, I do have some issues I'm working through with it. So we're going to try something a little different today's landing so that we don't end up 2,500 feet short of the runway. The Motrin, folks, is probably in the medicine cabinet to get that crick when your head just snapped when I said that. You might need it. You know, the pain for your neck, yeah, you might need some kind of medicine for that. Yeah, we landed 2,500 feet short last time. Complete loss of throttle. Would not budge. Now, I got a couple tips from Felis and company that we're going to try out today. We're going to do the most easiest one, which I think is why I was screwing up, and see what happens. Worst case, we'll do the second one and hopefully not land 2,500 feet short. Video is out there, Melbourne to Sydney. Now, prefacing that flight, that exact same thing happened the last Felis flight prior to that. I just did not fly it on stream. Tokyo to Gempo over in South Korea. And it did the same thing. I just luckily, actually I landed in the safety area for the runway. Same exact issue, and that's what they concluded they think is the cause, and a couple of ways to see if this will work. I don't know how the real guys did it, folks. If you flew these and were one of those pretty boys up in the front two seats, you know, that everyone looked at and you know, oh, look, it's the pilots. Ooh, and the women, well, we're not even going to go down that road. Some Air Force guys might know the word pedo tube for some reason. Anyway, we'll keep going to keep this a G-rated show. But yeah, check it out over at YouTube, the Melbourne flight. So, but yeah, they we just don't know why. And they watched the video over and over, and they said everything appeared to be done right. But I think by me turning this switch off is what did it, which makes no sense in my mind. 0 sense. Now, mind you, I'm only a real-world private pilot. So these complex systems, I'm pretty sure, I don't even think that this panel right here would even fit in the Cherokees I flew. The Warrior, the Archer, the Arrow, I just don't even think that panel would fit. So, nonetheless, turning the auto throttle off should, in my feeble brain, should not. Uh-oh, get current, and I know who you can fly. Oh my gosh, here we go. What's up from our moderator? Welcome in, Hawker. Get current. Well, I know one outfit I could fly for. I can't make a living at it. So, and truly, I'll be honest, folks, while I would love to make money at this gig of flying an airplane, I just really loved flying back in the 80s when I did it. There was, you know, my uncle flew in a hot air balloon, oh good Lord, 10, 15, maybe even further back than that. And he said, you get above the trees, how quiet it gets. How serene it was in that balloon. That's a balloon, folks. When I would get in an airplane back in the 80s and go fly, all the stresses that were upon me, and there were a lot back then, just like those of you in your teens and early 20s today. It's just we didn't have that thing called a cell phone exacerbating it, or this. We had other things chiding at us. So people love to say, oh, the problems these kids go through today, oh, they're just so bad. We did never deal with that. We had different problems in our age equal to that. So, but I would get up in the air, just even in the pattern, folks, dealing with Wright-Patterson Tower. I mean, so much of that frustration and stuff just went out the window. Let alone if I got up to 2, 3, 4, 5,000 on a cross country. Then other problems came into being, but another day. But it just, I just love to get up in the air and just fly. Likewise, get me out of a city. I just loved to drive the truck. In the city, I'm ready to go ba-dum, ba-dum, as I run over cars. But outside the city, oh, I eventually would cool down from being in the city and just relax and enjoy the ride. So, long story short, we went very long there. Moderator just pinged me over here. That's who I thought you were going to recommend me to there, bud. Actually, Kirk at work mentioned them, and I put that in the back of my mind big time. And we'll think about it. But yeah, I've thought about them and a lot as a way. So let me get my communicator here charging up. True, flying is flying. And like I said, folks, just getting up flying the pattern was awesome. I mean, just flying in general, I enjoyed. So, and that's why you will find, if you ever look me up on VATSIM, the number of hours. This is how I decompress from the airport, from my other jobs. I would just come in here and fly. So I just liked flying, folks. The Railman movie. Now, granted, a whole different plot line than what I was just saying. He loved trains. I also like trains too. As much as I like airplanes. And but there's a whole different anything. But the general way out of left field stuff is about the same. So, don't think do. Well, like I said, Hawker, we'll give it a try. Okay, looking at the airspeed, you thought I forgot about the plane, didn't you all, folks? All right, we're about to go over 0.85, so we'll get into Mach. And let the Mach airspeed get governing it. And I'm going to bring this up into climb. And let her build up again. Mach. We're going to let Mach airspeed now control it. And I did forget the same daggum thing, folks.
1,000 level off.
Got to remember, I'm going to somehow get that into the checklist. And 747 pilots, I know there's a couple. I don't know if they were real 747 pilots or 200s, or their exact how they know a lot about the aircrafts, but would I put that in altitude select on the ground for takeoff? And if so, I need to get that in a checklist somewhere. All right, we are reaching level off. There are no step climbs this 300-mile trip. So into cruise we go. And if you've been watching the needles here, you'll see them move as we change the different positions of our EPR from TOD to climb, which I should have done when I put the gear down. I should have went climb. I didn't. My bad. But we'll set this pretty close to where we're at right now. And there we go, folks. We are in climb, coming up to ANW, which I think is pretty close to top of descent. All right, now let me check a couple things here. We're going to get a quick arrival brief in for runway 31. Oh boy. Let me take a look here. Why did it do what it did? Sure did. Okay. All right, so we're going to come off. Let me make sure we're pretty close on the heading. This is how you make sure when you make a major change in the FMC that it takes hold. O-N-L. Okay, hang on. Let me see where we are in reference to that. A and W.
Adjust vertical speed.
Got an airplane ahead of us?
Adjust vertical speed.
Sierra Mike India Alpha Foxtrot 18, right here.
Increase descent.
Now, how do you hear me?
Clear of conflict.
SIMAF, SIMA F-18, how do you hear?
I'm not sure what's going on here, folks, but I am trying to get set up here. And 1390, 1390. Execute. All right, so we're going to come in on an arrival. I did not know we had such an animal. Okay, we're clear of conflict, so I'm not worried about it. Howery 3 for 3-1. ONL. Execute. Now, what would have happened had I stayed on this? I'll show you here in a second because it's actually doing it here. Well, let me just show you. It would have really gone screwy. We're going to change. Let's see what happens if I go INS now. It's turning to O'Neill. Okay. Let me bring it up real quick. Oh, okay, I brought it up on my end, but forgot you guys. Sorry. Okay, so we're headed to O'Neill. 13.9 O'Neill. We're going to look for an ATIS 126.25. Won't work here. Transition level 18. 31 is the runway, and we're going to go to Boise off of Howery. So from Howery to Boise, and then we'll expect vectors. Looks like we're going to just come down and then grab the approach into good old want to make sure we're not doing a whole loop. Okay, let's make sure we're doing this right. Direct O-N-L. There we go. Okay, because when you do these things on the fly, folks, always make sure to go to heading, do the change, and then do it. I did not know we had approaches because SimBrief didn't put us on one. All right, so if you clear this, look across the top here. You're going to see OFK, SB, JABMO. We're not hitting those anymore, so we have to go in, remove them. Not that one. And then we'll line up for our arrival. Okay, so Howery 3, O'Neill, okay, any altitude restrictions whatsoever? None. Okay, then I'm going to look, since we got this chart, we'll go to approaches for 3-1. We have an ILS and a Zulu. Oh, these look interesting. All right, so Shack or Bomber? Where's Shack? All right, hang on. We'll pull the charts up. Bomber's way out here at 25. Shack is at 12. And I'm just going to do the Zulu. Okay, and we're just going to come down here, come over, and get on the ILS, okay? High ILS. No, we're not doing high ILSs. Negative, Ghost Rider. You bomber guys might like that. You fighter guys might like that. But me, I'll stick to this. Okay, so at or above 3,000 at Shack. Terps, Cullix, Dackle is prop. Terps is the fix I want to know. All right, so I think we're good. We're back on the INS. We're 11 miles out. And I'm going to do a couple quick checks here. Okay, and there's what I'm looking for. 16.3. Just crossed it, by the way, folks. Distance to Omaha, we need to start down. All right, we're going to come down to 9,000. Okay. All right, we are starting down. And backing off and holding. All right. Oh, you guys didn't even get to see any of that. Okay, real quick, 109.5, 307 for our final. Terps at 2300. Our decision altitude is 1182 feet MSL, or read it as 200 feet above the ground. Same dot in the sky. Missed approach, we just climbed straight ahead to Sarpy and hold. And altitude-wise, we see... Wow. Well, that's 2,500 miles, or 25 miles out. Okay. Cool. At or above 3,000, well, now they're calling 3,000 at shack. So, you can see here. So, we'll come in at shack at 3,000 and go from there. Now, we're going to be doing the Howie 3 or Howery 3. So Columbus will turn to 095 to Howery, make a 27-mile run to Boise, 120 direct Offutt, but I think I might go, that actually might be a good run. So we'll see how that works out. And we'll set 200 in the dial. Latest METAR into here, folks. Winds 260 at 7, 10 miles, few clouds at 3,000, 25,000, and 2985. Okay, so beautiful day going in. Got some pesky clouds to deal with, but overall, not a bad day. All right, so seatbelts are on. Anti-ice not needed. Exterior lights set. Auto brakes. Let's do our check here. All right. The airport is 11,700 feet. Heading for 310 is 307 as well. Airport is 1,050. Let's call it 1100. 307. 310. All right. Dry. I don't remember the wind or the weather. 19. Barometric 85. 260 at 7. All right, so flaps 30. With the current runway data we have, we know it's dry. Temperature outside, barometric pressure, winds. This is what we get, folks. So 232 is our clean speed. Then you can see as we work down. This is the different speed settings. VREF is 132, so we'll plan right around 140 for our approach. And with medium brakes, we'll do 5,900 feet. That looks good down the runway. Real quick. All right, let's take a look down here. Make sure the spoiler is stowed. 2,300 feet a minute. Columbus is 11.8. $26 out, we are 24. Okay. Okay, not gonna let me. All right. What do we set? 290. Okay. All right, folks, we're only roughly call it 50 minutes into the flight. All right, I have been too busy and remiss on checking the chat room. Okay. Well, again, welcome to Flying with Mike. Well, we got a few seconds here. We're descending into Offutt Air Force Base here in Nebraska. It shows we're going to an ad break. Didn't we just do one? All right, well, we'll be right back, folks. All right, folks, welcome back from the break. We are 6 miles from Columbus, Nebraska, making the turn towards Boise, and we'll be headed inbound, so to the airfield. 18,000 feet. Double check. $2985. 2985. $2985. And 298. Now, technically, the cool thing here is, folks, I could go that 25 miles out, past the runway, turn in, and work my way in, just like the bombers would. Or turn in earlier, because that was a below 9,500 foot restriction out there. So we'd have to look at that up and see what we'll do here. Going to bring us down to 280. But again, hope you've enjoyed the flight from basically the western side of South Dakota to the eastern side of Nebraska. Okay, we are coming up to 250. At about 12,000, I'll set 250, allowing the plane to slow up. So at 10,000 feet, we're in the groove for the arrival. coming up to Howery, then to Boise. No altitude restrictions, by the way, folks. 0. So actually, I'm going to do this. There we go. Yeah, I have no altitude restrictions, so technically you're free to be at whatever you want. There's 12,000. Let's go ahead, set for 250. I lied. We'll go 240. Gives me a little cushion in case we bump the throttles or something. We'll let the spoilers do the work. Good old Nebraska cornfields. Okay, one thing we did not check for, and I'm doing it right now. Okay, no signs of rain. Okay.
10,000.
All right, and how are we doing? We are not.
1,000 level off.
We are not doing well at all on this descent. Okay, I wanted to be at 9,000 by Boise. Coming up on it. However, we can kick on our lights. Okay.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
All right, we are 10,000.
Approach checklist, please.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness.
Check.
Seatbelts and no smoking signs.
On.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Check.
Outer brakes.
Low.
Radio INS switches.
Damn.
Okay, that's one we'll just go ahead and check.
Flight director computer selectors.
Check.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Spoilers.
Hold on.
Altimeters.
1011. Set and cross check.
Landing data, EPR, and airspeed bugs.
Set and cross check.
Seatbelts and shoulder harness. Check. Fuel panel. Check. Fuel heat. Off. EPR computer. This.
All right, now we're gonna go ahead, put the EPR computer now into go around.
Go around. Cabin altitude. Check. Circuit breakers. Check. Approach checklist completed.
Cabin ready.
Okay, there we go. So we're all set and ready for the landing, folks. Got a couple things we'll need to do from here, like got the auto brakes. We're gonna be arming the spoilers here momentarily. And then everything else is ready to go. So I am gonna go ahead at Boise, bring us down to 220. And hang on just a second. All right, folks, back with you. I've got 2 bags. That's fine. All right, folks, sorry about that, chatting with the wife there. We're coming up on Boise. I am going to go to radio. Setting this. And we are going to set the ILS 1095. Our runway is 307. I went the long way home. And I am going to hold here at 9,000. We are going to the other airport. It seems to be a theme with us. Offutt Air Force Base. Cold War warriors like myself. We know that base. SAC headquarters. You've seen this base in kind of, sort of ways. War games. Slowing to 220. Now we'll go to 230. That way we're not completely at our flap speed, but we're getting there. Thank you. Go. Okay, we're tracking down. We're going to go to 127. Just slight alteration to parallel the runway. Albeit we're still a good probably 11.7. So let's see. No, it's not going to show DME. Never mind. All right, folks, we're slowing for approach now. We are going to slow to 220. We should be... Oh, we can see the city. The airport's north of here, so we can't see Omaha Airport. Off in the distance. Now, if we were flying this at night, we would see Offutt. But actually, it would be pretty much right off our wing here. Believe it's right there. I'll be honest, I've never flown in here, so that's my guess. But that's Offutt Air Force Base below us. Now, it was not a... Well, I do believe at one time it did have bombers. But for the most part, tankers, command and control aircraft were found here, like your spy planes, like the RC-135, many variants of it, some Snoopy, some others. The Harriers, however, were not here. Those are those ones with the really big fat nose up front. Those were actually over in Dayton. That right, Pat? But the other ones that we call Snoopy, a little more conformed to the airplane, but still oversized to it, that was Snoopy. And that's what it did. It snooped. And they also had a lot of the airborne SAC crews that commanded when the alert came, the battle staff, they had a plane in the air in case Offutt got taken out by surprise. The plane was in the air and it wasn't taken out. It could command it, and it would then eventually come over to this plane. All right, we're beginning to hit our altitude. And Terps was 2,300, so we'll kind of level it here at 3,000. Turn in on shack and make our landing. So, anyway, some useless information, I know, folks, but welcome to Flying with Mike. You know, I throw out some stuff. You never know, you might get those at those trivia games, and you can go, "Hey, I know that answer." Okay, more than likely you won't. But anyway, let's get over here to the performance page again. 230, 152, whoops, 230, 212, 192, 172. Okay. All right, folks, we're going to make our turn here momentarily, and what we'll do, set, correct, 307. So I am going to turn to about a 045-ish heading.
Terrain.
Wow. Wasn't expecting that out here, but we're still good. Okay, we got ILS fully indicated here, unlike last night in the Caravan.
Flaps 1. Flaps 5. Localizer alive.
Okay, we're coming on to the ILS, 3000 set in the box.
Flaps 10.
1095, 307 set, and we are okay. Be watching for the runway. We are now 12-mile final. Offutt Air Force Base. Traffic, Sim Air Force 18 heavy. Approximately 12-mile final, 3-1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, arm up the spoilers.
Flaps 20.
Got the runway in sight, folks. Okay, now I bring back the yoke. Reason I don't play with the yoke on here, folks, it just you can see it blocks my HSI right here. And then it's just a distraction. I like how Zebo has it lowered. I don't know if they can go up and down with them, but I do like
Gear
that.
down.
Gears coming down. We'll set 150 or 45 for now. Want to verify my speed. That'll work.
Gears down. Green light. Landing checklist.
Gear.
Down and check.
Down and check. Flaps.
Oh, they're not there yet, folks.
Flaps 25. Flaps 25.
Flaps 25. Ignition.
Flight start.
Anti-skid.
Check.
Altimeters. 1011. Set and cross-check. Landing checklist completed.
Flaps 30.
Okay, we're fully configured, stable, and ready to bring this bird in. See how that wheel is not, that's what I'm trying to prevent. So gets a little squirrely. Okay, on glide path, on Dasher, on Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. Here we come, in for a landing. Offutt traffic, Sim Air Force 18, mile final, 3-1.
Approaching minimums.
That looks like that worked, folks.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
It can
Glide
say
slope.
all at once
Glide
because
slope.
I'm visual.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Pull up. Pull up.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Check reverse.
Tried to do something at the end. Oh, it's still got a pretty good landing.
60 knots.
All right, we'll take
Auto
over.
brake off. Out, off, reverse.
Bear with me a second, folks. Just got to figure out where we're going to park. You know what? We'll just go up here to Where are we at right here? November. Excuse me. I don't have a taxiway November. Truly don't, folks. And we'll come off here. What the heck? Always love it. November? Where's November? And we'll clear up here. So I think what I was doing wrong, folks, was turning off the auto throttle. And Sim Air Force 18 is clear, 3-1. Where the heck would they park this beast? You know what's starting to really look good? That spot right there, folks. I thought maybe ramp F here would work. All right, well, let's clean up the bird, shall we? Okay, spoilers down.
Flaps 1.
Oh, that's the taxiway. We're going to go down to this ramp here, folks. All right, real quick while we're taxiing. Brakes, oh yeah, let's get that auto gear steering going. Off. Flight directors, dump. And radar to standby. Transponder to standby. Alright folks, we're just gonna park down here. I'll find a spot I want to turn in on. Sorry about that, folks. Don't like coughing in your ears. Now I'm assuming mostly 135s would park down here. Or their counterparts in the Snoopy world. Alright, and okay, let's go ahead, run it, and work it. Real quick. Outflow valves, manual. Okay, and we'll go ahead and start running it.
After landing checklist.
Brake pressure.
Check.
Body gear steering.
Arm.
Outer brakes.
Off.
Ignition.
Hold on. Off.
Engine and wing anti-ice.
Off.
Radar and transponder.
Stand by.
Flaps.
Damn.
Flaps are still... Oh, I thought I had them up.
Up. Flaps up.
Spoilers.
Down.
Stabilizer trim.
7 units.
Outflow valves. Open. Pressurization mode selector. Manual. Aft cargo heat. Off. APU. Check. Checklist completed.
Cabin crew, disarm slides.
Alright, let's secure the airplane here. As soon as we get the APU up and running. Okay. Okay, we'll get the engines turned off.
Cockpit to ground, put the chocks on. Chocks are on. Alright, secure cockpit checklist. Brakes. Damn. Beacon lights. Off. INS. Align. Probe and window heat. Damn.
Window heat's still on.
Off.
Back valves. Check. Fuel boost pumps. This. Off. Let's see. Reserve tank valves. Closed. Hydraulic panel. Check. Oxygen. Check. Flight recorder. Off.
Emergency lights. Hold on. Off. Radar. Damn.
Radio switches. Let's see.
Check was completed.
All right, folks, that wraps it up. A little bit heavy on the checklists, I know, but hey, we made it. Let's see, get those timers here. 1 hour, we'll call it 24 minutes. The other one was in flight, so you know what? Hang on. So about an hour flight, folks. So overall, that was a good run. I kind of liked that. That was fun. I hope you all did too. Oh, we're not done by a long shot yet. We still got to close out with Sim Air Force. See if that came over. Uh-oh. I got a feeling. Oh, wait, my came in. Interesting. All right. Yeah, interesting is 371 they got us at. Couldn't accept. And that is really bizarre about Sim Air Force. Oh well. No biggie. We made it. Everything's safe. We're on the ground and posted at Offutt. All right, now let's oh, hang on here. Get rid of this. And what we're gonna do here, sorry folks, just working. Don't mind that guy behind the curtain there in the Wizard of Oz. All right, looking over here. Sim Toolkit, 398. That's actually one of my better landings so far. And we actually made the runway. Matt, 1997 Air, welcome aboard. We just finished a flight. We actually got to the runway this time instead of 2,500 feet short. Oh, I don't know why people complain why we land in the grass sometimes. But anyway, we did make it this time. Here we go. Let's see how it looked. There's what the flight looked like with the change. Kind of wish we would have went straight, don't you? Oh well, we made up for it. We made a pretty good approach here, folks. And we're going to view the details. Okay, they're showing us flight time of 123, 366 miles, but 13.5 kilos we used. Hey, we didn't wake up many people this time. Only 1.2 Gs on that landing at just under 400 feet a minute. So 137 is the landing speed, which I believe is about 5 knots still fast. And that was because we were not really sure what the heck we're seeing here. Offutt must be under construction. I'm like, what the heck? All right, well, this will be interesting. All right, well, let's see what actually parks on this ramp if they have them out. Let's see if we can find these big E4s. Where do they park them? They don't really have them out. Well, they probably don't even have them here. That's... All right, well, that explains a little bit to us why we don't see them sometimes, or see them sometimes at Scott. They don't have a home right now. Awesome. Headed to Miami from West Virginia. I'd get a jitter too on American Airlines. Oh, did I say that out loud? No. Nah, they're good airline. They all are, folks. Well, that's great to hear, Matt. Enjoy the beach down there. All right. So disregard the fact they got the runway tore up here at Offutt. I find that funny. Sorry, folks. All right. So you would kind of see what we were doing. This would have been the threshold there. Let's use these numbers up here because we're not going to have a visual at this airport. While we do, we don't. We don't know where the markings and all are on the runway to get a good feel. Oh, sorry about that, folks. All right, so our ideal heading was 304. We were at 305. Thumbs up. Pitch 0.19. That could be a problem. 137 for our speed. Even with me trying to knock the, what you want to call it, auto throttle off, we still eked out a pretty good landing. That's cool. We were 935 feet down, so we ended up a little short, but that's fine, folks. We are still in the landing zone, just short of those aiming bars by 60 feet. And we were only right of the center line, 6 feet, and on this runway, it's only 150 feet. I would have thought closer to 200 being an old bomber base. Actually, I'm not even sure all of that anyway. So, I'm pretty sure they had bombers at one time, but they may not have. So, it was more of a command and control base. All right, so pretty good numbers from SimToolkit. Let's get that away. Let's come off a VATSIM. Boy, these fuel trucks are hovering around us, folks. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the chocks. Don't know if that causes troubles or not.
Remove the chocks.
All right.
Chocks removed.
All right, we are going to try. We actually had one fail last night. We did not get to see our landings in, and oh yeah, we are here. And let's head on in and see how it looks. I want to tell you this much, folks. This was a pretty stable wing rock wise. We'll even accelerate it. We might get a little, but overall, a really good approach here. Okay, yeah, we kind of thudded the runway a little bit. Not exactly how I'd like it. One last look. Screenshot it time, folks. Let's see how the passengers liked it. Actually, they didn't have much trouble with it. It was a really good landing, folks. One last look. Can't guarantee how well it'll be, but we'll give it a try from the tower. There's your aiming point. Ooh, that looked a little bad. Let's pull that just a little bit back. All right, well, we made it, folks. We're safe on the ground, safe for democracy. Folks, I hope you had a great time flying with Mike today. We flew from Ellsworth Air Force Base, South Dakota, down to Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. About 380-ish miles, folks. Again, really hope you enjoyed as we bring her into the stall here.
Parking brake set.
And again, hope you all enjoyed. Folks, I don't know when our next flight will be. Let's see. I work Monday next week, so Tuesday at the earliest. We'll have a flight schedule up on our Discord channel here shortly. Who knows? I may come back later today with yet another excursion into flying with Mike. Folks, again, my pleasure to fly with you. Hope you all join me next time. Head into the skies. We'd love to see you. There's our Discord channel. Again, if you missed anything here, folks, look at it. Look for us over at YouTube. And as one of our YouTubers came over for the live broadcast, hey, we'd love you to hit that like and subscribe. So for now, folks, we're going to wrap things up here in Offutt, Nebraska. Hope you had a great time. God bless. Be safe this weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. Maybe we'll squeeze in another one another day early. But for now, y'all have a great day. God bless. Thanks for flying with Mike. Be safe.
Cockpit to ground, put the chocks on. Cockpit to ground, connect to ground power. Shocks are on. Ground power connected.